day and thank you for joining us on BeeTv News Update at 12. I am Liberates Man Joanna. Now the news in details. 2 cities in Sudan are facing severe famine conditions, according to a United Nations-backed hunger monitoring system. The latest Integrated Food Security Phase Classification (IPC) reports warn that thousands of people in these areas are enduring catastrophic food shortages, with many on the brink of starvation. BeeTv News Favor Kolawole has details.
The report highlights the prolonged conflict, economic collapse, and restricted humanitarian access have left communities without adequate food supplies or essential services. In some urban centers, malnutrition rates have reached alarming levels, and residents are resorting to desperate measures to survive. Meanwhile, parts of South Sudan are also under imminent threat of famine after months without sustained humanitarian aid. The IPC assessment reveals that continued violence, flooding, and logistical challenges have prevented food and relief materials from reaching vulnerable populations. Aid agencies warn that if assistance is not scaled up immediately, the crisis could escalate into widespread famine across several regions. UN officials have urged international donors to act swiftly, emphasizing that the window to prevent further loss of life is rapidly closing. Millions are at risk, said a spokesperson for the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. Without immediate intervention, famine could become a grim reality for thousands of families. Humanitarian organizations are calling for safe access routes, increasing funding and renewed diplomatic efforts to end hostilities and ensure that life-saving aids reach those in need. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
Democratic mayoral nominee Zoran Mandani has declared he will not be intimidated by U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to cut federal funding to New York City if he's elected mayor. The report.
During a campaign appearance this week, Mamdani was asked how he would respond to the president's warning. His reply was firm and unapologetic. He said the funding is not something that Donald Trump is giving them in New York City because it is something that they owed in New York.
President Trump also encouraged every New Yorker to vote for Andrew Cuomo. There are many things that he will say and that he will do that will not actually bear out in the results within our own city. I will treat his threats as they deserve to be treated, which are the words of a president and not necessarily the law of the land. And too often we treat anything that he says by virtue of who's saying it as if it is already that law.
President Trump had earlier said he would consider withholding federal funds from New York City should Mamdani, a self-described democratic socialist, win the mayoral race, suggesting that the city under his leadership would be a socialist disaster. New York City relies heavily on federal funding, receiving billions annually to support housing, transportation, education, and public health programs. Trump remarks have raised fresh questions about the extent of presidential power to restrict federal spending for political reasons. Constitutional experts note that the president cannot legally cut or withhold funds already approved by Congress. Such an action would likely be struck down immediately by the courts, said Dr. Evelyn Morales, a constitutional law professor at Columbia University. Mamdani, 34, currently serves in the New York State Assembly and is running on a platform focused on affordability, workers' rights, and housing equity. He is also the first Indian-Ugandan American to secure a major party nomination for New York City mayor. In his broader remarks, Mamdani accused the Trump administration of using financial threats to silence political opposition. You can clearly see that Donald Trump is threatened by our campaign, he said, and this money that we're talking about, it's money that New York City is owed. It is not Donald Trump to decide which city or state will get what money. Although centered on a local election, the confrontation between Trump and Mamdani has drawn international attention. Analysts say it reflects a wider struggle between populist national governments and increasingly progressive metropolitan leaders, a dynamic visible in major cities across the world. New York has always been a global symbol of independent urban governance, said London-based political analyst Aisha Rahman. If Mamdani wins and holds his ground, it could inspire other cities to assert their fiscal and political autonomy. With election day approaching, Trump comments and Mamdani's sharp rebuttal has transformed the New York mayoral race into a broader referendum on political intimidation and democratic power. For Mamdani, the message remains clear: New York resources belong to its people, not to Washington politics. Evelyn Isabella reporting for BeeTv News.
Democrat Abigail Spanberger has won the Virginia governor's race, defeating Republican Winsome A. Sears in a high-stakes contest seen as a major test of political sentiment ahead of next year's midterm elections, the report.
Democrat Abigail Spanberg has been projected as the winner of Virginia's gubernatorial race, defeating Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome L. Sears in a closely watched contest that could signal broader national political trends.
It's a big deal that the girls and the young women I have met along the campaign trail now know with certainty that they can achieve anything. It's a big deal to the women older than I am, who forged the path in dreams, hard work, and in a belief that change and progress would be possible so that so many of us could follow in their footsteps in any career, in any role, in any challenge. The history Virginia is making tonight, it is yours. And I thank those who have come before me, and Mary Sue Terry in particular.
The former CIA officer and three-term congresswoman becomes the first woman elected to lead the state, marking a significant victory for the Democratic Party in a state known for alternating its leadership between both major parties. She said Virginia chose pragmatism over partisanship and our Commonwealth over chaos. Spanberg's campaign emphasized affordability and the economic effect of former President Donald Trump's spending cuts, which she argued had hurt Virginia's federal workforce and economy. Her victory follows a campaign appearance alongside former President Barack Obama as Democrats sought to galvanize support across the state's urban and suburban areas. Virginia's election was widely viewed as a referendum on Trump-era policies. The southern U.S. state, home to the Pentagon and thousands of federal employees, has often reflected national political moods ahead of major elections. Spanberg will take over from outgoing Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin, whose four-year term saw a shift towards conservative policies on education and cultural issues. In a broader Democratic sweep, Ghazala Hashim was projected to win Virginia's lieutenant governor race, becoming the first Muslim woman elected to statewide office in the U.S., while Democrats also claimed major victories in New Jersey and New York City, where Zohran Mamdani made history as city's first Muslim mayor. Party leaders hailed the wins as a strong rejection of Trump-era conservatism and a boost heading into next year's midterm elections. Harmony Agbafo reporting for BeeTv News.
Lifted a nighttime curfew in Dar es Salaam, ending nearly a week of restrictions following deadly post-elections protests that brought the country to a standstill, the report.
The unrest erupted after President Samia Suluhu Hassan was declared the winner of last Wednesday's election with 98% of the votes, a result the opposition denounced as a sham. The violence left hundreds feared dead, with opposition party Chadema claiming at least 800 deaths, though the UN reported at least 10 and the government has yet to release official figures. Shops and schools in Dar es Salaam are gradually reopening, traffic is returning, and internet services are being restored, though social media remains restricted. Families continue to search for missing relatives amid reports of secret burials and mass arrests. Observers from the Southern African Development Community said the poll fell short of democratic standard, noting that two main opposition leaders were barred from running. Human rights groups, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, condemned the government's use of lethal force against protesters. During a swearing-in, President President Samir acknowledged that loss of lives but blamed foreign actors for fueling the unrest. The crisis marks a major test for Tanzania's stability and for Samir's leadership, once hailed for easing repression but now facing growing scrutiny over her government's heavy-handed response. Evelyn Izibili reporting for BeeTv News.
At least 66 people have been killed in Philippines after Typhoon Karumaji tore through the central province of Cebu, leaving behind flattened homes, massive flooding, and widespread devastation, the report.
Death tolls from Typhoon Kamage in the Philippines have climbed to 66, with the hardest hit province of Cebu left in ruins after days of torrential rain and powerful winds. The entire neighborhoods were flattened, roads remain blocked by debris, and thousands have been displaced. In Talicia City, residents peeked through the wreckage of their homes. Survivor Elena Oken noted that they had walked and saved for years only to lose their homes, but she thanked God family was safe. Kamage, locally known as Tino, caused severe flooding and widespread powerful outrage across the Visayas region, prompting the evacuation of more than 200,000 people. The disaster agency said 26 people remain missing and 10 injured, including 6 military personnel killed when their helicopter crashed during a relief mission. The storm, the 20th to hit the country this year, has since weakened after making landfall, but is expected to regain strength as it moves across the South China Sea towards Vietnam, where authorities are preparing for its arrival. Cebu City, a major tourist and business hub, is slowly recovering as flood waters recede. Though electricity and communication lines remain unstable, photos from the Philippine Red Cross showed rescuers wading through submerged streets and using boats to reach stranded residents. Kamaji's devastation comes after weeks after 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck North Cebu, underscoring the Philippines' vulnerability to natural disaster as it faces yet another storm session marked by destruction and loss. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
Australia has expanded its world-first ban on social media use for children under 16 to include Reddit and live streaming platform Kick, bringing the total number of targeted platforms to 9. From 10 December, tech companies such as Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, and Threads could face fines up to $50 million if they fail to block new underage users or deactivate existing accounts. Officials say the move aims to protect children from harmful design features like addictive algorithms and endless scrolling. E-Safety Commissioner Julie Iman Grant noted that delaying children's access to social media would give them valuable time to grow free of deceptive online pressures, messaging, apps like WhatsApp and Discord, as well as gaming and educational platforms such as Roblox, Lego Play, Google Classroom, and YouTube Kids are not covered under the ban. While polls show strong public support, critics warn the law could invade privacy and push young users towards unregulated online spaces. Some mental health experts also argued that cutting teens off entirely may hinder healthy digital development and social connection. The ban, the first of its kind globally, is being closely watched by other countries as Australia tests how tech giants will enforce age verification through ID checks, parental consent, or facial recognition technology. And now to business news. Air passengers in Nigeria have condemned the continued sales of flight tickets exclusively in US dollars by some international airlines, describing the moves as exploitative and harmful to the country's economy. The policy, reintroduced ahead of the yearly two-day season, has triggered widespread outrage as travelers fear it will worsen fare increases and make air travels unaffordable for many Nigerians. Let's join BeeTv News' Favor Kolawole for more.
At the Murtala Mohammed Airport lately, several passengers expressed concern that the dollar-only policy undermines Nigeria's legal tender and will intensify the usual festive season ticket hikes. The controversy deepened after the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority announced a new $11.50 fee per ticket under the Advanced Passenger Information System, effective December 1st, 2025. The agency said the fee is meant to enhance airport security and streamline passengers' clearance by collecting data before arrival. However, critics argue that the new charge, in addition to an existing $20 security fee, will increase passengers' financial burden and further complicate air travel logistics. Stakeholders have urged the federal government to intensify, describing the dollar-only ticket policy as a violation of national sovereignty and a threat to consumer protection within the aviation industry. The Nigerian's Estes crude account has increased by 13% over the past 2 years, according to data presented by the Accountant General of the Federation to the National Economic Council. An analysis of 15 NEC meetings held between June 2023 and October 2025 shows that the ECA rose from $473,754.57 at the start of Tinubu administration to $535,823.39 as of October 2025, representing a $62,068.82 increase. Within the same period, the stabilization account expanded from 26.63 billion naira to 87.67 billion naira, a growth of 229%, while the Development of Natural Resources Fund rose from 96.90 billion naira to 141.59 billion naira, a 46% increase. The Stabilization Fund dipped to 17.21 billion naira in April 2024 before recovering through 2025, while the Natural Resource Fund fell to 26.85 billion naira in November 2024 but climbed back to 141.59 billion naira by October 2025. The federal government has obtained a $500 million loan from the World Bank to strengthen Nigeria's agricultural value chain and promote food security under the Renewed Hope agenda. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security confirmed the approval, stating that the loan will drive investment in farming, processing, and distribution across key agricultural sectors. The initiative is part of the World Bank $14 billion 6-year Agri-Connect program designed to link farmers, processors, markets, and financial institutions. According to the ministry, the facility will address gaps in smallholder farming, expand agro-processing capacity, and improve rural livelihood through better market access and infrastructure. The project aligns with President Tinubu administration's drive to ensure food sufficiency, stimulate rural industrialization, and boost Nigeria's agricultural competitiveness on the global stage. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
And on entertainment news, Nollywood actress Etinosa Idemudia has condemned men who compel their wives to return home after marital disputes, describing such behavior as oppressive and insensitive. Idemudia made the remarks in a post on Instagram while commenting on the reported marital rift between actress Regina Daniels and her husband, Senator Ned Nwoko. Let's join BeeTv News Evelyn Izibili for more details.
She stated that no individual should be forced to remain in a marriage against their will, adding that relationships built on coercion lack peace and respect. The dispute between Daniels and Nwoko deepened after the actress family accused the senator of assault and harassment, while Nwoko alleged that his wife was struggling with addiction and violent conduct. Idemudia questioned why some men prioritize control over their partner's emotional well-being and safety. She stressed that no means no in every context, including sexual consent, and said mutual respect and understanding should be the foundation of marriage. According to her, forcing reconciliation only worsens resentment and emotional harm. In another development, Ayola Adeleke, elder brother to Nigerian music star Davido, has married his fiancée Jessica in a colorful ceremony attended by family and close friends. The event drew attention from fans after the couple couple shared moments from the celebration on social media. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke, who is Ayola's uncle, was present at the occasion, adding prestige to the event. Davido also attended with his daughter Imade, attracting excitement from guests. The wedding marks a new chapter for Ayola and Jessica as they begin life together. Police in Derbyshire, United Kingdom, were called to the popular Winners Pass route in Castleton after reports that cars had blocked the road during the filming of a music video. Officers arrived at the scene around 5:25 p.m. on October 19th after London-born rapper Tyon Wayne was seen shooting a video in front of a black Rolls-Royce Cullinan for his latest single, Streets a Lie. Authorities confirmed that the road were later cleared without incident. Tyon Wayne later posted on TikTok claiming he locked off Peak Districts till the feds came. The rapper, known for hits such as Keisha and Becky and Body with Rush Millions, the later winning the 2021 Mobile Award for Song of the Year, has already drawn millions of views for the video. One of the clips from the shoot has exceeded 5 million views online since its release on Sunday. Evelyn Isabella reporting for BeeTv News.
CAF has confirmed that the Women's Africa Cup of Nations will expand from 12 to 16 teams, starting with the next edition in March, bringing even more competitions for reigning champions in Nigeria. BeeTv News sports correspondent Freeman Osewe has more.
The tournament, set to be held in Morocco, will now feature additional nations including Cameroon, Egypt, Ivory Coast and Mali, sides to initially missed out but aim qualification as the best-ranked losing teams. The decision marks a major step in the development of women's football across the continent, ensuring more teams gain a light tournament exposure, with Morocco hosting again and the competition serving as a qualifying pathway to the 2027 Women's World Cup in Brazil. The stakes are higher than ever.